What are the economic policies of Castroism? Have you ever wondered how a country can transform its economy under a single leader? Let's take a closer look at the economic policies of Castroism, which shaped Cuba under Fidel Castro. Castroism is rooted in Marxist-Leninist principles, but it was adapted to fit the unique conditions of Cuba. The goal was to create a socialist economy through state control and planning while eliminating capitalist market systems. One of the first major steps taken after the revolution in 1959 was the nationalization of industries and agriculture. The Cuban government took control of key sectors like mining, sugar production, and utilities. This meant that ownership shifted from private and often foreign hands to the state. Large estates and farms were also expropriated and turned into state-run or cooperative agricultural units. This was aimed at breaking the power of foreign capital and redistributing wealth among the Cuban people. Centralized economic planning became a hallmark of Castroism. The Cuban economy was managed by state planning bodies, such as the Cuban National Planning Board, which created multi-year plans for industrial growth and agricultural diversification. These plans set production targets and allocated resources based on socialist goals rather than market demands. Cuba adopted a command economy model similar to the Soviet Union. In this system, the state controlled prices, production, and distribution. The government aimed to eliminate economic inequality by abolishing wage differentials and performance-based pay. Instead, the focus was on collective ownership and equality among workers. Interestingly, Castroism relied on moral incentives rather than material rewards to motivate workers. The belief was that monetary incentives fostered capitalist individualism, which could undermine socialist values. Workers were encouraged to contribute out of solidarity and commitment to the revolution, receiving recognition through honors and public praise instead of financial bonuses. The regime also invested heavily in public services like education and health care, aiming to improve living standards and reduce social inequalities. These reforms were seen as essential to building a new socialist society. Due to the United States embargo and Cuba's geopolitical isolation, the economy became closely tied to the Soviet Union. Cuba exported sugar to the Soviet Union at guaranteed prices while importing oil and industrial goods in return. This relationship significantly influenced Cuba's economic policies and limited its decision-making autonomy. Despite ambitious plans, Cuba faced ongoing economic challenges. Issues like low productivity and inefficiencies in state enterprises led to shortages of consumer goods. The focus on central planning and moral incentives often did not produce the expected economic growth, resulting in rationing and austerity measures. In response to economic crises, especially after the collapse of the Soviet Union, some limited market reforms were introduced. These included allowing small private businesses and cooperatives in certain sectors. However, these reforms were cautious and did not fundamentally change the socialist framework. In summary, Castroism represents an attempt to build a socialist economy focused on collective ownership, equality, and social welfare. While economic challenges and external pressures affected outcomes, the policies aimed to create a society where economic development served the people rather than private profit.